Hi there, in this video I want to share with you 3 common mistakes I see sound designers make when they are working on redesigns. I also want to share with you how you can fix those mistakes so that you can avoid them in your work. Alright, with that said, if you're new here and you are a sound designer, video game sound designer, I have a gift for you. It's my Sound Designer's Starter Pack. It's a sound pack I put together of over 900 sound effects that you can use royalty-free in both your commercial projects and your personal projects. So if you want to grab that, I'll make sure to put a link in the description below. Alright, with that said, let's get right into it. All right, the first mistake that I commonly see both in my students and as well as in other sound designers is a misuse of reverb. Hey, future David here. As I was editing this video, I actually realized I wasn't very happy and clear with the explanation of the misuse of reverb. So I'm going to try to re-explain it here and hopefully be a bit clearer. And if not, hopefully you guys let me know in the comments below. But here we go. For misuse of reverb, there's a few things that I notice in my students. One is that as soon as they see like an environment where reverb can be used, I feel like they put the reverb mix like way up. So like if it's right on a track, they'll put the track like close to 100% wet. And if it's a send, like they'll put the send level like really high. So that let's say you're walking through a tunnel and with footsteps, it sounds just like footsteps in a tunnel, right? They don't take into consideration the perspective of the player and the listener as they're playing, they're walking through the game. Another misuse of reverb that I've noticed is that sometimes it'll be used as a substitute for ambient sound. So let's say, again, a character is walking through a tunnel. Instead of having ambient sounds for the tunnel, they'll use the footsteps to tell the player that they're walking through a tunnel, right? So that you hear the reverb of the footsteps or whatever, and then that way you know that you're walking through a tunnel, rather than having ambient sounds for the tunnel itself. So let's say you're walking through a tunnel. Well, what other sounds would be in the tunnel? Is there wind? Is there water dripping? Is there cars? Is there air or something like whistling by? So all these other things shouldn't be substituted for the reverb of the player of whatever sound is happening, right? So ambient sound should still be there. And then you could also have the reverb for whatever it is, let's say the footsteps in this example. All right, so the last thing I'll just mention here is for me, myself, depending on the perspective, if it's like a really close perspective, I'll usually have the mix of the reverb between like 1% and like 25%. And then to try to get the most realistic space possible, convolution reverb is usually best for that. All right, let's go back to the video. All right, let's move on to the common mistake number 2, which is that there is often not enough details. So a lot of the times in my students' redesign, I notice that there's a lot of sounds that are missing or sounds that could be there that are just not there. And sometimes there's even like dead spots where there's complete silence in the redesign. And that kind of should never really happen unless it's for a very intentional reason, right? So another reason why I think other students often underdesign and don't add enough details in their sound redesigns is because they often take clips from either trailers or other game footage. And a lot of the time, those pieces, those clips, those game footage, they have music in them. And when they remove the music and all the audio and everything from them, suddenly the whole redesign feels really bare. But when you are designing and redesigning sounds to them without music, you can't just put in the sounds that the original game had, because a lot of the times you're going to be missing a lot of sounds and details that the original didn't need to have because the music was taking care of certain elements, right? So it's very different to design and redesign a clip that has music and sound effects compared to a clip where it's just sound effects. It needs a lot more detail, a lot more attention, and a lot more clarity to make the sound and the mix and the whole redesign feel a lot fuller and more alive. What are some common mistakes or common things that people forget to design? One is going to be your environmental sounds. So this is everything from what's in the environment. So let's say you're in a city. This can be like stuff from the weather. Let's say it's raining or it's windy. It could be like cars. It could be birds. It could be pedestrians. It could be people walking. There's a lot of different sounds based on whatever it is scene that you are working on. But these environment sounds are super important. And just 2 notes about environment sounds is there's kind of different ways that you can build them out. One is that you can have a 2D kind of bass sound. This could be like a stereo recording. So let's say you're in a forest, you just have the sound of wind and maybe like birds chirping. And then you can also have mono sounds. And these are sounds that you can position in specific places in the stereo field. So this can be like as you're walking through a forest again, perhaps you have a certain bird making sound to your right or to your left. You might also have some like leaves rustling at certain places, let's say. So depending on where you are and the environment that you're in, you might want to have some sort of bass sound and also have some sort of 3D elements, sounds that are mono that you can position in certain places to make it sound a bit more alive. All right, other common things that are missing is also like distant sound sources. So for example, if you have a clip where you have enemies shooting at you from a distance, just having those gunshots from enemies that are in the distance, being able to hear those, even though, again, if they're low in the mix and they're just like super soft and maybe you have some sort of filter on them so that they sound a bit more distant, just having that can make a real difference to bring the environment alive. All right, so how can we fix this common mistake? The way that I like to go about fixing it or suggesting that you could fix it is to over-design your sound scene or over-design your redesign. And by that, you not only going to include everything that you see, everything that's visible, also ask yourself, like, what is it that I not see or that is not part of the scene? Maybe it's not part of the camera's not looking at, but maybe that I should hear. Is there anything flying overhead? Is there anything behind the player or the character? Like, what else could be present that I should be designed? Right. So asking yourself these questions and over designing is a great way to make sure that you have that you're really designing everything in the scene. Once you have that, though, the danger can become that you have too many sounds and too many elements that the mix is not clean. So once you do have a ton of sounds kind of designed and in place, then is the time where you want to go back and start removing sounds that you think might not be necessary in the scene. And the way that I like to do that, or the way that I can suggest to do that, is that you start removing sounds one at a time and notice if it actually changes the scene dramatically or not. If there's no like big changes and there's no like noticeable or audible changes, then it's probably something that doesn't need to be in the mix. So it's probably best to just remove it completely so that it doesn't clutter the mix. And basically you can do this until you finally get to a certain like group of sounds where if you take one away, like it really changes the redesign and the sounds, and then you know you have to keep that in there. Once you get to around that kind of space, then you know that you are at a good place for your sound design. All right, let's move on to the common mistake number 3, which is to not mark and design around what is the most important aspect or sound at any given point in the redesign. So one of the questions that I like to ask myself when I am designing is, what is the most important part or aspect of my design in this moment? And this is going to change based on what you're designing. It's also going to change based on the mood or the feel that you want the player to have or the viewer to have. It can also be a very stylistic choice. What I commonly see, though, however, in students is that a lot of them will have like good designs. Everything will kind of be in place. They'll have most of the sound effects hitting the right key points and everything's kind of there, but the mix is kind of bland. Everything's kind of flat and everything's about the same volume and nothing kind of has a hierarchy. There's no concept of a hierarchy or of importance in the sound design. So how can we fix this? The way that I like to fix it is to mark key points in the redesign. Let's say I have like a 10-second clip, is I'll put markers at certain points so that I know exactly what's important and what do I want to focus on either first in my redesign or to make sure that it really comes out as most important for that aspect. I might also make notes to say, like, for example, if there's like an explosion sound, maybe I want some silence right before the explosion to make that explosion even more impactful, or a big footstep or something like that. Whatever impact is happening, I might want to have some silence right before that happens so that it's more impactful. So like having like these kind of choices and marking those down will help you to be able to design them more effectively. All right, so here I have a little clip from a Warframe cinematic trailer. This is from a few years ago, but I think it shows really well the concept of like having what sounds that are more important than others. So I'm just going to play like a little like 10-second clip here and just have a listen, and then I'll go back and actually show you what I'm talking about in terms of having important sounds. All right, so hopefully you can see that there are certain sounds that are there that you hear that are clear, and hopefully those are like the main action sounds. Generally, that's what it is. But there's also sounds that are not present and that could be present. So for example, right here, right before the main character hides behind here, you have all these gunshots and you can hear the bullets whizzing by, which is really cool. But even when you're here, you'll notice here that only one character, you're only going to hear the sound of one character here, even though there's like 5 of them shooting. Why is that? Probably because this is the most important sound for this specific scene here. This is the one that's most dangerous because it's the closest to the player. Right? You hear this one really clearly, even though there's like 3 or 4 of them shooting, right? So it's having that kind of attention to detail, knowing this is more important. It's not like you're not going to have those other sounds there, but knowing that you want that one to be more present. All right, so just to recap for number 3, make sure to design with markers, set specific marker points so that you know exactly which are the key and most important points in your redesign that you want to hit, and make sure that those are brought out the most. And also make sure to always ask yourself, what is the most important at this given moment? Even if you're going frame by frame, you should always be able to know exactly what is the most important thing that's happening, what's most important to be able to communicate to the player, to the character, what is happening and what should be at the forefront of the sound design. All right, so I hope you like these 3 tips and I hope you get to implement them. If you want to see more on how to create better sound design redesigns and also your demo reel, I actually made a whole video about like 10 different tips for creating a sound design demo reel. So if you want to see that, I'm actually going to put it in the cards above here and also have it in the description below. Just a reminder also to grab that sound pack if you haven't already. And I think that's it for now. If you have any comments, questions, leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching all the way through to the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.